What's going on, world? I'm Wesley from A Connection TV, the network, the one channel on YouTube where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences, and the similar connections that I want you to adopt with me. The Ask Dad for this particular episode is with a review and a love for, I guess, of, I'm pointing to the screen like it's on my screen, but it's not. This is my Sarah Oliver interview that's compressing and uploading right now. Which video is this? Okay, Real Housewives of Atlanta, the first episode of the new season, Bye Bye and Bon Voyage. Now, this really shouldn't be a long video because not a lot did not happen in this particular episode, but it was like, wow. Like, the whole episode was wow. We started off with Nene, okay, in Vegas, and she has a gig to work with Cirque du Soleil in the Zumanity show, which is all about sex promotion and orgies and, you know, expressing yourself sexually, and it's like a nude show and all of this, and I'm just like, okay, interesting. It reminded me of American Horror Story, Freak Show, and not to say that the people look like freaks, and not to say that Nene Leakes looked like a freak, but she definitely looked like one old drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race. That top piece like took the cake. It just sat there and it was a piece. It didn't even look like there was no split. There was no, it's just just a piece, and it just, she really gave drag mom. And you know, whatever, if that's what Nene wants to do to make her money, and she's making money, she's working, more power to her. But the one thing that I will say about Nene is not only is she still getting work, I respect that, but I like the fact that she's accepting gigs. That's cool. I like to see that she's still out there. But the makeup is way too much. It's, in my opinion, the makeup is way too much. It's caked on. You can look at her and be like, dang, she got on makeup. You can look at Kenya and be like, all these women, well, Portia not so much, and Candy not so much, but all, especially Nene, all that makeup. When she was on What's Happening Live with Andy, I was like, dang, chick, like, you just wanna just wipe all that off. It's like, wow. And that nose, wow. Like, it's way too much. I think Nene does not have to do that. That's what I will say. Nene does not have to do that to look. Anyways, Candy Burrs Tucker. I think this is cute. We see a scene with Candy talking to Todd about, you know, cleaning out an area of the house for Kayla because Kayla's 18. She's coming down to live with them. Then they get into a discussion about how Candy really spoils Riley, like, way overboard, and how Riley has her own little apartment and 2 60-inch TVs and blah, 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 blah. If you got the money, honey, then go ahead. By all means. If you got the money, because I'm sure Candy wasn't raised rich, you know, living a rich life, and Candy didn't grow up like having everything that she ever, you know, wanted. And so if you can do that for your child, do that for your child. If your child is doing well in school, do that for your child. If your child is great and kind to people, yes, reward your child, because the kids out here nowadays, they doing the ultimate most. And I just think it's a beautiful thing to support. So support your child. That's great. Do that, Nene. I respect that wholeheartedly. I mean, Candy, I respect that wholeheartedly. Todd sitting around and not doing too much. Even when he got up in the room to help, he didn't help. He was just sitting on the bed. They was talking. I don't know. I still like Todd and Candy's together. I like that. Phaedra is in a hotel with the baby. She's at a hotel away from the paparazzi during Apollo's hearing. Every time we saw the house, there were no paparazzi. So it annoyed me. Then when Apollo came onto the screen and he's like, you know, talking to his brother Michael, oh, she's talking about paparazzi here. There's no paparazzi here. I'm like, I'm not going to judge Phaedra, and I'm not going to judge Apollo. I've done some wrong in my life. Everybody has done some wrong in their life. Not unless you're a complete saint. But everybody has done some wrong in their life, and unfortunately, when you do certain things, you have to deal with the consequences. You have to reap what you sow. That's fine, okay? But even like in my mind, even when watching the seasons, I've never understood where Apollo got his money from. Never got it, never understood it. It's like when we see Apollo, Apollo's doing Phaedra's bidding. And, you know, when we see Phaedra, she's throwing these glorious parties, you know, and flaunting her money. So I'm just like, okay. And Apollo's helping build the house. Like, I don't know their finances. I don't know their financial situation. I don't know any of that. But in watching this particular episode, hearing them disclose some of that information and hearing them talk about it, the house is $3,200 a month, how he couldn't even touch his own savings and all of this, like, I'm sure they have a lot of particular situations that have occurred in their marriage. But my thing is, and will always be, there's sickness and in health till death do us part. And that's what it is. You ride or die. If the love is unconditional, you ride or die. If it's not, then it's not. And it is what it is. I thought it was really jacked up that Phaedra didn't go to the harem. But at the end of the day, I thought it was kind of jacked up that he put himself in his position to not have to see his kids for 8 years. You know, I'm like caught off guard. I'm not on either one side of the fence. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting on the fence chilling. You know, and I really feel bad for the sons. And you know, I do have remorse and feel some sort of pain for the boy because, well, but the man, because yes, he's grown. Yes, he did it. He shouldn't have. But damn, like you just got out of jail. Not just, but you were in jail before. You come out, you get married, you have these beautiful boys, gorgeous boys, and now you're about to miss 8 years of their life. Potentially 8 years of their life. Potentially 8 years of your freedom. It's like, what? I don't want to mess with the police. I don't want to mess with the law. I don't want to mess with anything of that nature because I like to dictate what I do in my life 24/7. So I feel bad, but it sucked that Phaedra was so emotionless, so stone cold in this confessional. And she said it, she was like, to telling Candy, you don't see when I cry, you don't, well, she ain't used the word cry, but you don't see when I have my emotional moments at night and when I have to tell my son that they ain't gonna see their father and all this. You don't see that. But when we do see you, Phaedra has always been well kept. The only time we haven't seen Phaedra well kept was when she was sitting outside that when it was on that resort in Mexico, I think they went. She was sitting outside the door because she was locked out. That's the only time we've ever seen her remotely flustered or anything like that. So that takes strength to do that, and especially living in a public life the way that they do. God damn. And you know, Candy said it, they do have a lot of personal intricacies that we don't know about. So she vibes with Phaedra's opinion inside, and she's loyal to her friend. But I don't know, if you get married, like yeah. I don't know. Y'all are married, so I think she should have been there. I think so. I mean, I don't know. That's basically what the whole episode was about. Cynthia speaking to Kenya. I thought it was very interesting hearing Cynthia voice her opinion and be with her chest out and just be like, here I am, hear me more. I had a past and, you know, it didn't involve a stripper pole and all of this. And I'm like, okay, I mean, if this is the new Cynthia, that's great. Cynthia, you're gorgeous. I love the fact that the Bailey agency is still on and rocking and kicking and you training that girl to walk. Didn't really see your walk in the clip, but you were doing your thing. And I respect Cynthia, and I love the fact that her and Peter are on better grounds. Great, because Peter was very controlling and very messy and very secretive with the funds and the way that we saw it in seasons. And I'm glad that they're talking about, you know, her being a potential partner with a new business venture in Charlotte, and he's including her and he's bringing her lunch and all of that. awesome. I think that's a beautiful situation. I really do. I like the fact that Nene and Greg are together, and Greg is following Nene everywhere she goes. She making that money and he reaping the benefits because he's married to her. So that's a beautiful thing. Cynthia and Kenya talking about the whole thing with Portia. And Kenya's all, I just don't understand why none of the girls had my back. Everyone's trying to give her this excuse as being ignorant and just being dumb. But she should not have hit me. And the public shame and the humiliation for me, I was just mortified. So I went away for 3 months and toured the world. Girl, bye girl. Bye girl. I wish I could go away for 3 months and just tour the world and not have to worry about shit and escape. And you mad, but your ass came back on the show though. You really came back on the show and gave us all the waterworks. But you had these beautiful pictures all in Paris and all over the world and shit. But you really mortified and child, bye girl. I was not, that whole scene. I was like, this is when the dog died. And this is when she wanted to give birth and I can't. She's too much. She's way too much. Way too much for me. Portia's like, girl, bye girl. I ain't owing that girl no apology. But I could have swore we saw a video where no, she said if Kenya apologized, I'll apologize. I think that's what she said on What Happens Live. Portia walking around here with her ass out and titties all out and body all big and all of that and looking good and beautiful, and she has no care in the world. She out here releasing music and recording music and doing photo shoots and shit. I'm like, Portia, get your life, boo. Get your life, boo. Get your life. At the end of the day, what I think about the whole Kenya and Portia situation, again, Kenya should have left well enough alone. She has no room to talk because everybody talks about somebody on that cast. The only person that does not go in and berate anybody's name is Candy. She's the only one that does not go and post confessionals and just be blasting out people, not unless somebody says something about her. So everybody, Portia, Kenya, they was always name calling and name throwing all throughout their season. So her wanting to catch a case or whatever the case may be, she had no reason. She had no right. Because her mouth is reckless. But once you go throwing stuff in people's faces and antagonizing people and physically threatening people with scepters and bullhorns and all that, then you deserve an ass whooping because there's no need for all of that. Now, Portia could have been the bigger woman and, you know, relaxed herself and calmed her head, but you just can't expect people to react the way that you want them to react when you egg them on. You just can't do that. You just can't. I can understand if Kenya was sitting there and didn't say a word and was chilling and answering Andy's question and Portia just got up and socked her and pulled her hair, then yes, Portia has a problem. But you can't provoke people and expect them to react the way that you want to. Stop provoking people. So I don't feel bad, her woe is me moment. I was over that shit. And then the rest of the episode was about Phaedra and Apollo. Did I miss anything? Apollo gets 8 years. That's sad. That is just sad, sad, sad. And then at the end, Apollo's like, I want a divorce. And Phaedra's like, not bothered. She's like, okay, if you want a divorce, that's fine. Bon voyage. I'm like, the marriage was never really solid. You know that the marriage was... The marriage wasn't sound. And that's fine. They've come to that conclusion. They can admit it to themselves. He wants the divorce. She has no problem giving it to him. And it just sucks because what about the kids? I'm Wesley from Make Connection TV, the network. Let me know what you thought about this particular premiere. And yeah, give your comments below the video. Deuces.